Hey everyone, here at Fort Tryon Park in Manhattan, or what New York likes to call simply the city, the northwestern tip. It's one of the tops over here. Behind me is the Cloister. It's a very famous museum. Behind me is Hudson River. I don't know if you remember that movie, Miracle on the Hudson, with Tom Hanks. Across the Hudson River is New Jersey. Down behind there is the George Washington Bridge, so that's New Jersey, and we're in New York. Just want to share three things you can do to improve your sales. Remember C.P.M. C stands for consistency, P stands for productivity, and M stands for measuring. Consistency, how consistently are you focusing on pitching people every day? Productivity, how many hours are you actually spending on it? And lastly, measuring. M stands for measuring. Are you measuring the number of pitches, the people you're pitching, what your conversion rate is? So for instance, if you pitch 10 people and get one person as your client, that's a 10% conversion. And the better the conversion, the higher sales you have. So just to repeat, CPM, C for consistency. Are you pitching every day, every few days? Ideally, the more the better. P is productivity. You've heard of working hard, that's the amount of hours you spend, so I have a 3-5-8 rule. I do my best to pitch at least 3 hours a day, at least, or 5 or 8. Mind you, there's other aspects of business. I remember a friend of mine who is part of an executive network called Vistage, and he talked about how business really comes down to 4 areas. One is marketing, the other one is operations, next one is sales, and the last one is your service or product that you're offering. And so the sales part, if I'm saying how productive you are in that and how consistent you are, there's still 3 other parts. And as many business owners know, it's challenging to juggle all 4. But at the core, you want to make sure that the bulk of your time, the majority of your time, or someone on your team is focusing on sales, because without sales, there's no business. So productivity, 3-5-8. Do your best to at least devote 3 hours a day minimum to pitch various clients, whether on email, Instagram, any social media, and you get more sophisticated in the online world. Everything is measured, everything is tracked. And lastly, M for measuring. As Peter Diamandis said, who is a phenomenal entrepreneur and a thought leader, he says if you don't measure it, you can't improve it. If, let's say, I am 500 pounds and I want to lose a few hundred pounds, well, guess what? I got to step on that scale, take a baseline of how heavy I am. Anything in life, if you don't know where you're starting, then you don't know if you're improving. So make sure you just focus on simple things. Be consistent with your sales, make sure you're productive, and lastly, measure everything you're doing. In terms of the productivity, the last thing is you can put the hours in, but if you're not getting the results, then you have to step back. And at the core, I just had a friend who is starting a personal fitness or fitness training type business, and she said she didn't close any clients. And what it comes down to is she has to work on her pitch. Maybe the pitch isn't good. She has to work on the person she's pitching, whether the client is ideal for her service. And lastly, just being persistent. So work on the pitch, work on the people you're pitching. Maybe the person doesn't have the money. And lastly, make sure you're consistent with pitching and also being persistent. Oftentimes people follow up once or twice, but the success, 80% of it is on the 5th to the 12th follow-up. Hopefully that helps. One last view of New York City, Hudson River, George Washington Bridge, sunset. Yesterday was Chinese New Year, so wishing you all a happy Chinese New Year. Bye everyone.